and welcome to this afternoon's Top 10 Ways to Stay Connected. I'd like to introduce Gracie Branch, NAESP's Associate Executive Director for Professional Learning, who will introduce our speaker.
Hi, everyone. I have the pleasure of introducing our great speaker today, Liz Garden. She's the principal and, of course, lead learner at Dr. Leroy E. Mayo Elementary School in Holden, Massachusetts. She's also a member of the NASP National Coronavirus Task Force. She's been an administrator for the past 12 years. She blogs regularly for her staff, and today she's going to share the top 10 tech tips to help you get through challenges being caused by virtual learning in the midst of our pandemic. So thank you. Take it away, Liz.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, Gracie, and thanks, Honor. I am so excited to be here today with all of you and to see everybody. I wanted to start off by sharing this great quote. Oh, hi, Mark French. Some of my friends are joining in. I'm excited that people have signed up for this which I hope will be informative for everybody. But I wanted to start off with this great quote. I love quotes, and from Fred Rogers. When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping. And I think this is such an important message at this time. I was honored and so excited to be asked to be part of the NASP National Task Force, where we've come together to try to think about how can we help everybody, help other principals during this time. And one way, I think, is that to share with people different ways of how we have to stay connected. You know, it's so crucial when we cannot be in our schools and with our communities physically. You know, how can we keep that connection going? So I'm hoping today to share with you several different ways to stay connected, and some of them you might already know, some of them you might have tried out, and I'm going to share some different ideas with each of them. And please feel free to, you know, if you have something to share in the chat, we'll be trying to monitor that. I'm glad to see my good buddy Julie Bloss is here. Thank you for popping in. Julie, you might be in my presentation later. You just wait and see. So let's get started. And also I should say that at the end of this, I'm going to tell you about different ideas and share some tips. And thankfully, NASP did a great job of putting together a resource page that will be shared with all of you. Oh, and my buddy Alice Scholl is here. Good to see you, Alice. So number one.
Liz, before you start, if everyone could please select all panelists and attendees when you make a response in the chat box. That way everybody can see your comments.
Thank you. Yes, thanks. That's important. Make sure that you're sending it to everyone so that we can share that information, or that I can answer questions or share people's comments. So the first tool, I think that probably many of you are maybe you never used Zoom before COVID-19, and now your day is consumed with Zoom meetings. But this is, when we can't be together, this is definitely an amazing tool to be able to connect with other principals, with other district leadership, with your staff. I know a couple things that I have used. Well, one, just, you know, it's the fun feature of you can change your background in Zoom. I kept right now my my back room of my bedroom, but you can certainly put yourself on a beach, or the other day I had a chat with some students and I put a picture of our actual school in the background so they could see that. But there's a lot of great features with Zoom. I mean, obviously right now with what we're doing, you can share your screen so you can be presenting to people. You can have a whiteboard feature. You can do breakout rooms, which is so great. I don't know if anybody has ever participated in EdCamp before, but being able to kind of have a large group go into smaller groups is such a great feature through Zoom. Some ideas that, something that I'm doing this week with my students is I felt like, my teachers are able to connect with their classes on an individual basis, but you know, I have 500 kids in my school, so to be able to connect with all of them, I thought, what can I do? So I sent out a Google survey for this week. It happens to be second grade, and I will get, there's a question about security, and I'll talk about that in a minute, Mark. But I sent out a Google survey to my second graders, to the parents, and I said, you know, I'd love to do lunch chats with the principal this week with second grade. So, you know, let me know if there's a day that your child would be available, and if it's okay at this time, if I can pop in for a 15-minute chat with them. And so each day this week I've had 15-minute lunch chats with 5 or 6 second graders. I bring in my assistant principal, my nurse. Sometimes we surprise them and bring the classroom teacher in as well, or other specialists in the building. And we just have like a quick chat. And the parents, you know, are all okay with it. And we have shared information about saying that, you know, that's a very specific chat where the only people that are invited to it are the kids, so we don't worry about other people coming into the chat. And so, you know, Mark is asking about Zoom with students and about security breaches, and now the fact that Zoom knows that it's being used so much more, and they have continued to update and improve their security issues, and you can, like I said, you can only you can invite, you know, what happened when I do my Zoom sessions, I have to invite the students. It'll come on and say, you know, is this person allowed to come into this chat? And I allow them to come in. So that's a great feature. I'm planning to do maybe like next week breakfast with books, where my third graders, I might see if they can chat with me for 15 minutes in the morning and we can share what we're reading. But it's been a great way to be able to connect with everyone. And I'm seeing somebody in the chat is saying that they do a whole class Zoom session and then some small group sessions. So yes, it is a great feature. So that leads me to the other great tool to connect with is Google Hangouts Meet, which again, you might not have never heard of that before this pandemic, but now it's another very popular tool. The nice thing about Google Meet is that if you're using the Google platform, like I'm in the district, we do that. So we have all of our staff meetings and things through Google Meet, or we have our leadership meetings. There are a couple different things that you can do. There's a Chrome extension where you can add in, you can make it so that you can have a grid on your screen so you can see everybody, because I know that's really hard. You know, even right now, I know there's tons of people joining in and I obviously can't see all of you, but to be able to have a meeting with your staff and on the screen, you can add that extension in so you can see everybody. You can, you know, the other night we did a fun staff gathering. We did a trivia night with the staff, and so I set up a Google Meet, invited anybody that wanted to come in from our staff into the meeting, and we actually played staff trivia. And so we used a different platform. We used quizzes where everybody was on their computer doing their own little quiz about fun staff trivia. Like, you know, we learned about things like, you know, what's the oldest thing in your refrigerator right now, to, you know, who's the famous person that you'd love to have lunch with. And we played trivia, and it was just a nice way to be able to just connect and relax and kind of have some fun in this tough situation. And I have a question coming in here. Let's see. Are parents finding this too overwhelming with their virtual meetings with classroom? Oh, so, you know, people are asking about like adding something else in with a principal, and you know, I have made it optional, and it's interesting. Like last week I did first graders. I have 100 first graders, and I think I had about 25 that joined me during the week, you know, so it was nice. I had 4 or 5 kids a day, and you know, I said to parents, if you can do it, great. If you can't, I'm going to keep trying to do other ways, because I get it. I understand. I have 2 5-year-olds, one preschooler and one kindergartner, and you know, they have their own Zoom meetings or their own classroom sessions that I have to build my schedule around. So I definitely recognize that. But the parents that have participated have really appreciated just another way to connect that I'm offering. Which has more benefits, Zoom or Hangouts? Oh, that's a good question. I kind of flip back and forth using both of them, but I do know that Zoom has a lot more of the features, like the whiteboard feature that you can use if you're really trying to teach through that. It has some of those other features that you can use, but you can also share your screen with both of them. I don't know. I kind of flip back and forth. I don't know if I could say which one has more benefits. I did the other day, I did a Google Meet. We did a birthday message to one of our students. So a bunch of our staff came on and we sang him happy birthday through Google Meet. Just another great tool. So let's see. Number 3. Now this one is one that, you know, Twitter. I'm thinking that everybody has, oh, and Alice is adding, sorry, that polling on Zoom is great, and we'll get to that soon. I'm thinking that everybody, you know, has heard of Twitter or knows about Twitter, and in a minute we're actually going to do a poll. But, you know, now more than ever, I feel like when we can't be connected, and we can't be in our buildings, that, you know, and we can't have face-to-face in-person PD, Twitter is a place to be able to connect with people, to be able to get resources, to be able to, you know, reach out and get support during this time. So, you know, and then also if you are a Twitter user, hopefully you also are familiar with TweetDeck. Which is if you are participating in any Twitter chats and you want to schedule your tweets, or if you want to, or if you're, you know, you're hosting a Twitter chat, like that's a great feature as well. Oh, someone had also asked, how do you overcome the time limitations that Zoom has? Oh, so if you are in education, technically, I think right now that they have, in some cases, they've lifted the time limit. So, but I have also been in meetings where it's like, okay, we have 40 minutes and this is our only time. So we're very strategic about, you know, hence my ones with the students have just been 15-minute chats. So I want to do a poll about Twitter for my group to see who knows. So I have, when you hear Twitter, my question is, what pops in your head? Either is it that love it, so many ideas, connections, and resources, oh my? Is it that I thought it was just for presidents and celebrities and celebrity presidents? Is it I have an account but I don't know where to start? Or the Twitterverse, hello, hello, is there anybody out there? Anybody Pink, if it's your Pink Floyd fan, you might like that. Or finally, hashtag, did I mention how much I want to retweet, follow, and chat with so many edu rock stars? So, go ahead and we will give it a minute here to see what people think about Twitter.
Liz, in the meantime, while we're waiting for that, we did have a question. Are you going to talk about the security concerns with Zoom? Some companies are banning the use of Zoom.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it makes me sad to hear that. I know that not just companies, but some districts. I know I was on the phone with a couple people yesterday where they were saying that their district does not allow them to use Zoom. I mean, I guess, you know, that's the thing about why I've wanted to share both Zoom and Google Meet, that, you know, there are a couple different options out there. And, you know, I think that both organizations are certainly working very hard because they don't want that to happen. I think Zoom has admitted that they made some mistakes in the beginning. I don't think they realized how popular they were going to become. But, you know, I think right now they're working hard to make sure that it is more secure. But I know that that's the reality. Some districts have said, nope, you can't use Zoom at all. So there are other options. But, you know, so and people are saying, like, if they can't use Zoom, they use Google Meet, or if they don't use Google Meet, they use Zoom. So that's good.
Mm-hmm. And there's also, they mentioned the Zoom also has a capacity limit of 500.
Right. Oh, and I see one of my teachers is on here joining in, Maura. Thank you for being here. Okay, so it looks like, all right, we had about 38% here that said they love Twitter. There are about 32% said that you have an account but you don't know where to start. So, you know, the good thing is that after this webinar, I will share the resource page where NASP did a great job of gathering. There's some video clips for you to watch about Twitter. There's some short articles. I definitely recommend, this is the time, if you're going to get involved in Twitter, this is a perfect time to jump in and learn more about it and get more resources. All right, so we will move 2. Number 4 is Voxer. So hopefully many of you I'm laughing because I'm just getting a Voxer message from some friends who they are listening in to my webinar. So Voxer is such a great tool, and especially now, again, when we can't be with people, it's like a walkie-talkie is what where you can be connected and you can send people audio messages, you can send text messages, you can type it in, you can drop in links, and someone was asked, poll we just did, was it through Zoom? And yes, it was through Zoom, right? I think it was Honor, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Yes, it is. It's in
Was
the
our poll through
system.
Zoom?
It was already loaded, and all I did was launch as Liz was talking.
Yeah.
Since
So
I'm here,
that is another great feature.
can I just remind people to use that little drop-down menu? It's right next to where it says to all panelists. Just a little drop-down arrow and click all panelists and attendees. That way everybody can see your comments.
Thanks. So Voxer, as I was saying, is like a walkie-talkie, and I've used it for many years to connect with principals across the country, principals within my own state. You can have different sort of groups that the walkie-talkie is through Voxer, this that I'm talking about now, not through Zoom. And so it's, to me, there's something about being able to hear someone's voice to really connect with them. We just talked about Twitter and how that's a great way to connect, but, to really hear someone's voice, to be able to talk to someone like they're there with you, and I'm going to show you an example. So my friend Julie Bloss, she's up here on the screen, and she is a principal in Oklahoma. We talk pretty regularly on Voxer, and it's just easy to send each other messages, and so like I can hit a button and
TeachingBooks.net is like finding a treasure chest full of gold. This is a gold mine. Thanks for sharing. It is amazing.
So that was a resource I had shared with her about how to pronounce certain authors' names, was teachingbooks.net. So she was just sending me a message thanking me for that, but it's Voxer, V-O-X-E-R, is it's an app, and it's also, you can be web-based on your computer, or it's an app on your phone. The other piece, besides connecting with other principals, like you could get, if you can get your whole staff on Voxer, and then you can, you could have different groups, like you could have a 3rd grade group all together and be having conversations back and forth. Your whole school can be on Voxer. Julie, you're welcome for the shout out. And it's just a nice tool. I mean, there are there's also a lot of other things that have either come out or are coming out of apps. Like there's one called Marco Polo that some of us were just talking about actually this morning, where in that feature you can actually do video clips of yourself and share them with each other. There's something called House Party, which is an app where you can kind of get people together to have a conversation. So especially now is a time where we all are craving that connection, where we can't physically be with people, but we can reach out and talk to each other and hear each other. And Voxer has been a tool that for me for years, and now it's just even more important. And people are saying, so Cass Nelson, hi Cass, is saying that she loves Marco Polo because it has a video feature too. So you can record a video message and you send it to your staff and things like that. Telegram, I don't know Telegram. I'll have to learn about that one. Lisa is saying that she uses Telegram to send text, videos, pictures. So awesome. Let's see what we have next. Another great tool during this time to stay connected is Seesaw. I know a lot of districts were using Seesaw before, but now it's even more beneficial. This is how a lot of people are doing their remote learning. And yes, sorry, the question is, someone's asking, does the recipient have to have Voxer installed too? Yes, you have to, everybody that's using Voxer has to have the app or have an account to be able to send it to each other. What's the difference between WhatsApp and Voxer? So I'm only familiar a little bit with WhatsApp, just because family members I know have told me they've used WhatsApp, and I don't actually know if it's the same as Voxer. Um, I know that the WhatsApp can be used more like a text feature, I feel like, and it can also be used in other countries. I know that feature of it, but Voxer, it doesn't just have voice messaging. So as voice messaging, you can type text messages, you can drop in links, you can kind of like favorite and store things. You can drop in video, you could drop in a video link, like a YouTube link or a short video. You can do that as well. So Seesaw, I have been learning a lot about Seesaw because my daughter, who's in preschool, that is how her school is connecting with her. And I kind of call it like the Facebook for kids, because what happens is they post different little activities. The other day they said to her, go on a shape hunt in your house, and then she can take pictures. She can kind of draw, like outline the pictures on the screen. She can record a voice message. She can record a video. You can send all kinds of things that way, and she can see her friends too, and she can like the little comments. We go every day at the end of the day, we read through them and we say, oh, your friend Elise said this about, doing the shape hunt. And it's just a great, for engagement with kids. It's huge. I find that it is just a really great tool to be able to keep kids connected and for them to be able to share in different formats, whether it's video or texting or recording, things like that. So, and I see people talking about WhatsApp and Voxer, so that's good. Another tool that, I have several of my teachers use this is Remind. A little bit different from Seesaw, though. I feel like Seesaw gives you many more features to stay connected, but Remind is certainly nice at either the classroom level or the school level to, send kind of text messages or, my teacher, you can see that she might send like a picture to all of her parents and kids showing them something. Well, it's definitely a great way to communicate with families, but it doesn't have as many features as something like Seesaw does, I've found. And yes, and Melissa, hi Melissa, she's saying that teachers love Remind because it translates, which is a great feature to be able to reach our bilingual families. So awesome. So another awesome tool that during this time I love is Flipgrid. So hopefully you have heard of Flipgrid, and maybe you have tried it out, or you've just heard of it, or you're thinking about it, but I can't recommend Flipgrid enough. Talk about a game changer for connection with staff, with students, with families. Right now, what it is basically you can sort of have this. You have one link where you can sort of build a classroom of video responses. For example, last week was Assistant Principal, Appreciation Week, and in Massachusetts, our association, what we're doing this week is we have a Flipgrid, and all the principals are recording messages to appreciate assistant principals. And so then we're going to be able to share that with the assistant principals, and they can all watch the videos. And what's great is people can respond. They can either like your video, or they can respond in their own video back. There's a couple different things. I've done it before where that's how I've introduced my staff. Sometimes when I have new staff, I have sent a Flipgrid link out to the new staff, and I've said, hey, record a short video of yourself, and then I put it all in one link, and then that way people can see and watch. It's students, I've used it in classrooms where kids can do reading responses, or just having conversations and talking with each other. And again, right now, I think we are learning, before all of this happened, connection was so important and relationships were so important as part of learning. Now, that's what we rely on. In order to get through this together, we need to have different ways to connect. And so to be able to have something like Flipgrid where you can, all the kids can see each other, or all your staff can see each other. I've had teachers record their read alouds on Flipgrid. And sorry, I was just stopping to read the chat there for a second. I have also had, I've just had kids be able to kind of interview each other through the Flipgrid method there. But now I wanted to stop for a minute and actually share in the chat if anybody has used Flipgrid, or if you have ideas for Flipgrid that you can share with us. Let's see, I have somebody saying that Melissa says that their high school utilizes Google Classroom and the junior high is utilizing Remind. And yeah, Google Classroom, I feel like Google Classroom has a little bit more features than Remind, especially now that they added Google Meet. You can do Google Meet within Google Classroom, which is a great a bonus. My kindergarten teacher used it for the kids to read and share a book and wrote to their classmates. So that they use Flipgrid. That's awesome. Can I demonstrate Flipgrid features? Well, let's see. And is Flipgrid free? Yes, they just changed that this year. Actually, before all of this, Flipgrid is free for educators. Using Flipgrid for students to give each other responses based on a writing goal. That's great. I see another one of my teachers here, Patty. I use it with my full class. They did a check-in from home video and then a book recommendation. That's great. Kindergarten teachers using it for a weekly update for parents. Yes, you're going to be able to get my presentation. It will be posted on the website, so at the COVID-19 resource page on NASP. Cass says she has a teacher who uses Flipgrid as a place for students to share new learning from science journals and discuss with classmates. That's awesome. Megan, a fellow Massachusetts principal. She's hoping to use Flipgrid for Teacher Appreciation Week. I want to have the kids record a video about why they love their teacher. That's awesome. And have parents say why they love the teachers, especially now. Definitely important. Kim Johnson says, I love Flipgrid. I've used it with my staff and students. For staff, it was a fun Friday activity since we have been in remote learning. Oh, that's great. My son uses Flipgrid in science. The students record a science experiment and then share it with each other. Yeah, it's great. It's a free tool. They keep adding lots of different features to it. The kids love, like, they can put little graphics on the screen. They can, kind of do stickers that they post on it. They can respond to each other. It is really great. The librarian uses it to promote books. Awesome ideas. Thanks, Stacy. Okay, let's see. And I will show you where there's some examples of Flipgrid here at the end on our resource page. Some more of my teachers. Look at all these people joining in. I hope to use it more. That's what Julie, one of my special education teachers. My own kids' teachers have them use it and record their sessions in foreign language. That's another great way to use it. Awesome. So YouTube. I think before this, sometimes YouTube in schools didn't always get used as much. I know in our house we call it the red button. My kids know it as the red button. So, the thing about YouTube, what I like is that at this point, I mean, before the pandemic, I was recording voice messages to my parents. I found that after I sent out a survey and I realized that they weren't always reading everything I wrote, but they would stop and listen to a couple minutes of me talking on a video, giving them updates. Now, especially, I think they appreciate that I'm giving them video updates from my house with my children, talking to them about what I'm going through with just like all of them. And I have a YouTube channel that as I add my videos on. And so, there's so many great features for ourselves to make our own videos. And I'll talk about one of those tools in a minute, but and also just for I know my students really like the fact that I used to do Facebook Live read alouds, and now I record them on YouTube, because then the kids they love that they can go back and listen to it again and again, and they can subscribe to my channel and know that anytime I post some new messages. But I've seen principals doing things like recording read-alouds on YouTube, recording morning messages, and being able to put those out, giving birthday shout-outs. I said about the video messages to parents. I have my gym teacher does his workouts that he records and posts on YouTube, recording lessons. Obviously, that's going to become more and more popular here. And also, it's a great tool for just teaching yourself. You know, right now we don't have PD that we can go to a PD session, but gosh, I mean, there's pretty much nothing that I don't look up and say, I wonder if there's a YouTube video about how to do that because I don't know how to do it. And guaranteed there's some sort of YouTube video that has already been made. And it also is, you can be making videos for your staff and for others as you're trying to teach them about a lot of the different new tools that they're all trying to frantically learn if they don't already know about. So YouTube is a definite great tool. And now YouTube has come out now with YouTube Kids. Which I know in my house we love that feature where there's a little bit more control over what kids can have access to, and also it kind of cuts out all the extra stuff and the ads and things like that. So, you know, YouTube Kids is there's still a lot of the clips and things that they want to watch. They're accessible. I can control that a little bit, but also I'm thinking about when we share with our students, it's just another great feature for younger kids. So yes, someone's asking about, the librarian said reading books aloud and posting is against copyright. Well, yeah, before the pandemic, yes, this was a big issue. It's not, what you have to do is get permission, and it's really often the publisher, not even necessarily the author. But now with everything that's happened with COVID-19, there's actually the School Library Journal. If you look up their site, they have gathered, I mean, pretty much every publisher, every author has given the right to teachers and to principals and to everybody to read the books aloud now and record themselves reading it. So it was an issue before, but now since COVID-19, that's a silver lining, that they are allowing that to happen, and authors are doing that now themselves as well. Can you do read aloud in YouTube Kids? Oh, that's one of my teachers asking. So what happens is that you'd be recording your read aloud through YouTube. It would just be a matter of if your link to your YouTube that you recorded is available in YouTube Kids. And I think it is. I'd have to do some research on that a little bit more. But people are sharing to make teaching lessons and get them uploaded. Yep, definitely. Yeah, many publishers are allowing read aloud, definitely. Thanks, Claire. Hi, Claire. She's saying Claire Landrigan is an amazing literacy consultant. If you don't know her, look her up. But she is saying only on private settings if you're not the author, right? And oh, thanks, Cass. She dropped in the School Library Journal link into the chat box, and that shows all the publishers that have adapted their policies to help educators. So, and yes, so Claire is talking about they're not allowing us to do it on a public platform or a public website. And so that's why, you know, like anytime I do any recording on YouTube, I keep it as unlisted. And then, you know, it's just really, I share that link with my students and with my families, but it's not something that's just kind of publicly out there for everybody. And thank you. Claire's dropping in some other great resources through the Book Love Foundation. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, number 9, iMovie. So speaking about YouTube, you know, I feel like since I used iMovie a little bit before the pandemic, but now I use it all the time. And it's such an easy tool. If you haven't used it, it's very easy to quickly figure out how to use it. I mean, I certainly used other apps before, like Quick is a fun movie app to make things. That's a much easier one if you have a lot of photos that you're dropping in. But iMovie is great where you can drop in photos, you can drop in video clips, you can add music, you can add transition slides or descriptors, and you know some of the things that like this is an example on the screen here. I had my staff all you know, and lots of people are doing this now. I see where you have them kind of hold up a sign that says you missed the kids, or give a video message. You know, our special ed team, they flew a paper airplane and passed it along in each of their clips. So all different things to, you know, to send a message saying to our families that we miss them and to the kids. And then we made it into a movie and sent it out. And, you know, the parents just said they appreciated it so much, that the kids loved being able to see everybody's face. So kind of doing a video like that through iMovie is a great tool. We're getting ready to do like a lip sync video for fun, where the staff is going to we're going to lip sync a song, and it's going to be all spliced together to share with the kids every week. So every week at my school, when we were in session, we would have, or almost every week, we'd have a dance party. So I said, oh my gosh, you know, like, I missed that dance party. And, you know, research shows that dancing, you know, can lift your spirits and put you in a much better place. So since we've been out of school, every week we have a virtual dance party. So all week long, kids send me video clips of themselves dancing in their homes, and then I splice them together into an iMovie, and then I share it out over the weekend to my families. And people have really loved that, and it's different every week. So different kids send me clips, different staff members send me clips. I put it together, and then I just share it out, and they look forward to it. And they, you know, parents have said, please tell me you're going to do this every week. And I've said, as long as we're out of school, I will keep doing it. Oh, thank you. Hannah says my school sounds amazing. Well, I'm a little biased, but I think it is a pretty great place. So, you know, like, you could make, I've seen some other people do sing-alongs. Like if you have a whole school assembly normally, you could put together a sing-along in an iMovie. You can send out, what else was I going to share? You know, well, actually, some of my staff are on this, so they better not give it away, because I will tell you, I'm actually doing a secret mission right now for my school, where I'm going to be making 2 movies. One is for my assistant principal, because she's retiring. And so during all this time, this is awful that this is kind of how we're going to end, you know, her career, is during COVID-19. But what I did was I created a separate Gmail email called Mayo Secret Mission. And so I shared that with all the families, and I said, send me information, whether it's a picture, a video clip, a letter, to our assistant principal. And I didn't want all of that kind of filling up my email box, because obviously right now I have a lot of email. So that's all going to a separate email. And I even set the theme as like ninja, because it's my top secret email. And then I'm doing something also, a top secret mission from the kids for the teachers. I won't give too much away, but that's just an idea too, is to set up a separate email account, and then your families and your kids can email that email, and if it's media and different things, and then you can go, and when you go to build your iMovie, it's just easy to quickly load all those things into an iMovie. So let's see. Oh, I have one more item to talk about, Facebook and Facebook Live. So again, I feel like before COVID-19, you know, different administrators and schools were a little leery of Facebook, and, you know, I mean, it's still, social media is, people can post different things on social media, but I like to use Facebook and Facebook Live for a couple different ways. One, to really be positive and share, you know, the school story, but also Facebook Live, you know, it's now more than ever to be able to connect. You know, if you come on and do a Facebook Live, whether it's, you know, sometimes I was doing read alouds, but I kind of shifted that to YouTube now, but I do, sometimes I just come on and just do book recommendations and just talk to my kids and say, you know, like, here's what I've been reading. And then in the chat, they can kind of comment and say like what they've been reading, and kids can respond to each other that way. And, you know, also Facebook Live, so it's so great how many just PD opportunities are happening through Facebook Live, whether it's book clubs or book groups that are forming. You know, my, like, one of my all-time idols, heroes, Kylene Beers, is a amazing literacy expert, and she does office hours every day. Actually, it's happening like right now. She does them at like 3 o'clock on Facebook Live, and she brings on either somebody with her or she herself just talks for 30 minutes about literacy and about different ways to engage kids in reading and writing during COVID-19. And, you know, it's another great tool to connect. And I found in our school, a lot of our families are on Facebook. So, you know, it depends on your school. Everybody has different social platforms. What's her name on Facebook? It's Kylene Beers. I'll type it in so you can see. Oops. Sorry, my computer is funky. So Kylene is the one, but there's so many, like lots of authors are doing Facebook Live. Lots of different PD people are doing different recordings. When I've done the Facebook Live, what I also like is that you can do do it live in the moment and there's engagement there. But then I know that not everybody is on Facebook. So then what I do is I take that link and I email the link of that Facebook Live out to my family so that they're getting it. You know, if they're not on Facebook, they're getting it from me through an email link that they can go on to. Somebody is asking, teachers use Facebook to post work information to their students. So yeah, that's another way. It's just another platform to be able to connect. And yeah, so I definitely have like a personal Facebook page, but I also have a school Facebook page. So we have, you know, there's different platforms that you can use, which is great. It's a great tool. Is there a time limit on Facebook Live sessions? I don't think so. I mean, I would imagine you can't go for like hours on hours, but you know, I have definitely been part of Facebook Live sessions that have been like 30 minutes. And then where would you access a schedule under Facebook Live? What do you mean by that? I'm trying to, do you mean like, when you let people know about when you're coming on, or can you schedule it? Is that what you're asking? And then somebody said too, we had a virtual Spirit Week and asked families to post pictures on their school's Facebook page. Yeah, that's another awesome thing to do, is to connect that way. Oh, thanks. Nathan is saying the time limit is 8 hours. So yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think, goodness knows I would not be on a Facebook Live for 8 hours, but you know, if you needed to be. Oh, Cass is saying they broadcast baseball games. There you go. I know we've done our PTA meetings sometimes through Facebook Live. We've done some parent evening events where we've done it on Facebook Live at the same time if people couldn't come to it. So scheduled events coming up. So the hard thing is like if people have, you know, have scheduled different Facebook things, sometimes it's just a matter of finding out those through social media or trying to discover them. So those were 10 different tools, but I feel like it's also important. I have one more tool to share here in a minute because, you know, as a principal and as an educator, being, you know, working from our homes, now more than ever, there's the problem of you can get sucked into 24-hour workdays. And, you know, you have to really know when to turn it off and when to walk away from the computer, when to not respond to email. So there is, you know, and email is a big one for me. You know, that I don't know if there are any Game of Thrones fans here, but I love this. Brace yourselves, email overload is coming. Or maybe, you know, like your inbox looks like that number. Hopefully it doesn't. Mine is pretty high, I will say. Or, you know, maybe it looks like, you know, you kind of feel like sometimes this is what's coming at you from your computer. I'm sure in this hour that I've been on this webinar, I'm afraid to look and see how many emails I've received in that time. But there is a great feature called Inbox Pause. If you haven't heard about it, I have used, it's through Boomerang. I've used Boomerang on my Gmail for a long time. And Boomerang, the tool I've used is that, you know, I might draft an email to go out to my staff, but I don't want it to go to them until, you know, Tuesday at 3:30. I don't want them worrying about it right now, but I'm thinking about it. I want to plan it and write it out so I can set it to go off then. But what's the nice thing about Inbox Pause now is that you can do a couple things. It will literally just pause your inbox so that, you know, email is coming into you, but you don't have to, you won't be seeing it coming into you. Because I don't know about you, but like I'm sort of like squirrel, like, oh, whoop, there's a new email, and I can get distracted and kind of focus on that. And it's somebody's asking, is it only work for Gmail? So it has an Android, or what is it? Not Android. It has another feature, and I'll show you on the resource page here in a minute. But so it's not just Gmail; it's Gmail and I have to think about what the other what the other one is. But so you can, like I said, you can pause your emails, but you can also set it up so that it's like, you know, maybe you only want to get your emails like after breakfast at this time, and then after lunch, and then after dinner. You can set certain times where you want the emails to come in. Outlook, thank you. Yes. I'm pretty sure it has a feature through Outlook. And you can then also, like, you know, so if I set it up on and say, okay, I don't want to get the emails from like 10 o'clock till 12 o'clock, but I want to get my emails from my superintendent. Like, you know, I really want to make sure I get those. So you can also have select people that those emails do come through. So it's a great tool. And, you know, if you can turn off and, you know, getting those notifications and seeing that email come through for periods of the day, you're probably going to be more productive, and you're probably going to be able to really, you know, set a little bit more guidelines on your schedule, which is super important. I mean, I just shared all these ideas of ways to connect and how to reach out, but, you know, that takes up time of your day. So if you can do one thing for yourself, you know, look into using Inbox Pause. So I wanted to, first, I'll take some questions from people, and I did want to share, because people that know me know I'm a book person, and so I just love this quote from Kate DiCamillo that, you know, in a dark time, doors will sometimes magically open and let us step inside to the warmth and light of a community. And I think that, you know, I would like to think that through all of this, there's a silver lining that the focus on connection and relationships is so much more, and it should have always been like that, but this is helping us to see that it is, it's crucial. You know, it's the number one thing that we all need to be thinking about and figuring out how to connect with our kids, with our families, with our colleagues, and so I'm hoping that today I've been able to give you some ideas for how to do that. And then this is, you'll see that the resource page, we're going to share the link, but it's also on the NASP website. So thanks to Katie Early, who went through and kind of found all these for me. We have everything I talked about. There's lots of great links, video clips, articles for every topic that I mentioned. Well, the top 10 ones that I mentioned are in here, so that you can kind of do some of your own self-learning after this, because there was a lot coming at you within an hour time. You're lucky. I like to kind of go and read through and check out the videos and then play around on my own. And even the Inbox Pause, there's a little the info page there, and also a little video clip for you. So let's see here. I gotta, go back to my presentation. Any questions that people have while we have a little bit of time here? Let's see. I see. Thanks. A lot of people saying thanks. I'm glad. I hope that you learned something, or that you're going to go try something new. I'm glad we can share these resources for you. Someone's asking if the document will be emailed. I don't know, Honor, if it's going to be emailed to people that participated, or if it's just the link that they can go to on the website.
Right. I've posted the link to the coronavirus resource page where you can download the video. The video recording will be available tomorrow afternoon, as well as the PowerPoint and the resource list. So feel free to go there. And I will send a follow-up email as well to everyone, and attach the slide presentation.
Awesome. And oh, my friend Jill Flanders, thank you for joining in. Okay, there's a question. If teachers want to record themselves doing lessons to send to kids, what platform do you recommend? Well, that's okay. That's tricky. I mean, I think a couple of things. You know, there's a couple of the things that I mentioned that you can record on. I mean, you know, whether you actually do like a YouTube video to record it that way. If you do use Flipgrid, I think there's definitely a time limit in Flipgrid, so you can't, you know, speak too long on those videos. Or if you were to do, I think, I mean, really just recording yourself in some way. You know, there is the feature of in Zoom, and I think also in Google Meet, where you can record yourself there. But I use YouTube a lot. That's just the format that I use. I make a video and record myself that way. Oh, and see, people are sharing Screencastify. That's a good one too. Yep. Let's see. Any tips for recording read alouds? That's one of my teachers, Tara. Well, I mean, tips as far as like how to do it, I would say just, you know, have fun with it and be yourself. And kids just love to hear you read. But then, you know, sharing it. Like I said, I love the YouTube live video recording. That's kind of how I've started to do mine. Inbox pause. Does it pause coming emails as well as pause going out too? Yeah, so that's what happens is that it will, you know, you set kind of a time limit. It depends. If you pause it completely, your email is coming into you, but you're not seeing it come in. You're not seeing that it's there until you say a certain time that you want to see the email come in. And so it's sitting there, but it's just, you can't see it. Or if you set up as time, like, you know, you say, okay, I want to get my emails from, you know, 10 to 12. And also what will happen is it will share out with other people. So if someone sends you an email that during that time, you'll get an email that says, you know, I got it the other day, Jessica Hutchinson, who's a principal, you know, it says Jessica Hutchinson, her inbox is paused right now and she'll be receiving this email at this time. So it'll let people know as well that that's what's happening. And oh, Stacy, I'm glad you're going to try inbox pause. Let's see what else here. Is there a chance we might end up not receiving a really important email through inbox pause? Well, you know, I hope not. I don't know. I mean, I haven't had that happen. And like I said, you can put certain emails to say, don't limit these emails. Like I said, if my superintendent, I would probably say, like, I wouldn't put him on pause. I would say, you know, those are ones I want to see. So definitely, you know, you can do that. Oh, someone's asking about with my YouTube. So right now, I do use YouTube Live. So I just end up, you know, going on and saying, like, YouTube Live, I record my message, whether it's just me talking, whether it's me reading a book. In fact, the other day I did one for my parents, and at the end of it, I was impatient with my daughter, and I thought about cutting it out, and I kept it in, and parents said to me, thank you. Thank you for showing that that's what you're experiencing, because we're experiencing it too. So being real is a good thing. Oh, thanks, Alice. Thanks for joining in. Alice, those of you that don't know, Alice Shull is a retired principal from Massachusetts who is also a mentor through NASP. And she is an amazing force to be reckoned with. But I'm glad that she joined into the webinar today. Let's see. And I will just also share, you know, this is just my contact information. So please feel free to, you know, reach out. So one of my teachers says, thanks, Liz, for all the wonderful ways you keep us connected at Mayo. Well, thank you, Maura, for joining in. I'm so excited that some of my staff was here. And I'm from Massachusetts, so, you know, I thought this clip here that now that we have everyone washing their hands correctly, next week we're going to work on turn signals, because we need that help in Massachusetts. But so here's my contact information, my email. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Voxer. you know, please reach out. And if you don't reach out to me, NASP we are trying to think of all different ways that we can support everybody during this. And there's a really great page on the website that you can go to for resources. The task force, we meet every week to try to come up with different ways that we can help educators and educational leaders across the country, because we're all going through this together and we all need to help each other together. Thanks. Lots of people say, how do you send your YouTube website to your parents and students through which method? Oh, so what I do is I just, so a couple ways. I use S'more is another feature that I use. If you don't know S'more, it's a great online kind of newsletter builder that makes it look like I'm a graphic designer and I'm not. And so sometimes I will drop a video into that S'more, and you can just put the YouTube video right in there. And then I email, we have a, we use PowerSchool, and that's a school messenger. I message that out to all my families, the link for that site. I also sometimes will just simply email everybody the link to my YouTube video, and once they're on there, they can see other things that are on my YouTube channel. So I'm always trying to make sure that if I'm posting things either through social media, I'm also sending it out to all my families, because I know that not everybody is on the social media platforms, and that way they can still access them. They can access the Facebook Live videos even if they don't have a Facebook account. So all those things, I try to make sure that everybody can see that. Let's see. Oh, the newsletter design. So it's called, I'll type it into the chat too, so people, it's called S'more. It's amazing. Also very easy to use. And it just looks very nice. You can add text into it. You can add video. You can add pictures. You can track and you can see how many. So I can watch and see. Last week I sent one out and 750 people opened it. I can keep track of who's actually. If I have links within that, I can see how many people are clicking on those links. Yeah, I just typed it in. Hopefully you can see S'more. It's a really great tool as well that I've been using for a while, and it's a definite, people really like it. I make my YouTube videos unlisted and share the links only with intended parties. Yes, I definitely do that as well. I keep mine unlisted. Alice says the teacher she's coaching is using it. Yes, that's great. It's that's what my parents have come to expect and know, that that's how I'm going to communicate with them, is through a S'more. And you can add a lot of different features to it. You can change the background and the setting. You can I have a kind of a template that I use so that at the bottom is always like our school, like our Twitter account, our Facebook page, all those links. All right, so I think we might be coming up to an hour. I can't believe that we went through that. That was fast. But I thank you for everybody that chimed in and joined in.
Liz, we want to thank you for doing this great tutorial for us today, and I appreciate you giving a shout out to Katie Early from the professional learning team, and she really did a great job. Our intent was to try to get a lot of these great resources and tutorials all in one place for you all. And so I'm really excited to be able to offer that to you, and thank you for all of Katie's hard work, as well as Honor Feedy. You can imagine all of the webinars and Zoom meetings we've been doing, and Honor does a great job. We always have a practice session before we do this live, and so also want to give a shout out to Honor. So thanks again, Liz, and if anybody has any questions, I know that Liz would be happy to answer them, and I would be as well. So we really appreciate you all joining us today.
Thanks. And I love the comment that just came through that said, I don't know how you have time for all this and a preschooler. My staff that's on here would know that too, yeah, I don't know either. I'm not really sure. And actually it's two of them, two kids. So thankfully right now they are napping, I hope. Yes, thank you so much, everybody. This was so great, and I'm grateful to be able to connect with all of you, and I'm so grateful to NASP because it's such a great organization, and during this time of difficulty, it's just been wonderful to be able to have all these different webinars and different options, ways to connect.